Welcome to Sew and Tell, where sewists from fashion, theater, and indie sewing bring their different perspectives to the hottest topics in the sewing community. I'm Kate Zaynard.
I'm Meg Healy.
And I'm Amanda Carestio. Today we're getting into the holiday season nice and early with a discussion of gifts, the kinds sewists like to make and the kinds they like to receive. We'll each share a little something in our SewJo segment, and then we'll ask you to share something as well. But before we begin, how's everyone doing?
I'm doing good.
One of those days, huh?
Yeah. No, it's just like the sun is shining. It's like abnormally warm today. It's super nice out. So I just, I'm feeling good.
Yeah, we're having really warm weather too, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, it feels like it's the final bits.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
I'm trying to not look too far ahead on the forecast.
Well, yeah, don't look more than like 3 days because that's when we're losing it. But it's been nice. My husband has been taking the cats out at lunch and they love to go outside, but it's been too cold for a while. So they're like blissfully happy, except they don't like stepping on the dry leaves. So they run around the corners of the yard trying not to step on dry leaves. They're so cute.
Are they scared or what?
Yeah, I don't think Maggie likes the noise. And so she's always trying to avoid the leaves as much as she can.
I love a crunchy leaf step. Oh, I like always try and step on as many leaves as I can.
I know. I'm like, Maggie, come on, let's frolic in the leaves. And she sits there and she just looks at me like, you are so crazy, lady.
Oh, I have to admit, I've been looking into pet strollers for Bubbly because he can't
my God.
go outside, and they're actually pretty popular in Toronto, and so I could like take him on walks and stuff. I have looked into it several times, so
That's adorable.
I feel like you see a lot of those in Colorado as well.
Oh yeah,
I see a lot of, for little dogs and older puppies as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's like little screened in ones, so we can't hop. I just could see him just sitting there and be like, oh, and like, anyways,
sniffing the air, the little twitchy bunny nose.
Yeah,
oh, I love it. I love it so much. Well, shall we hop into our first segment?
Yeah, let's do it.
Speaking
of hopping.
Exactly.
Let's hop on over to our next.
I wish I'd meant to do that, but I didn't. So 'tis the season, I guess. Let's talk about sewing handmade gifts. This is a hot topic in the sewing community. I see a lot of folks on one side who really cherish this process every year. It's like it's part of their traditions. They get started early and share along the way, and it's really magical to watch. And then there are folks on the other side who just really are a solid no. And definitely there's no right answer here, but I was interested to get your take, Kate and Meg. What's your kind of general feeling about making handmade gifts?
Well, sometimes my sewing gifts are they're on a pretty low level. I don't do a lot of sewing gifts.
Right.
I have been known to do like crochet gifts for people. Last year, we made fleece scarves for everybody with little fringes, but those were no-sew scarves. So that was, not a sewing thing. And I'm perfectly happy to make like a few things, but I'm not real big on sew something for everyone.
Yeah.
My mom asked for a pin cushion, so I'm going to make her a pin cushion. And my mother-in-law asked for a toiletry case, so I'll make her a toiletry case. But I don't have the patience to sit down and sew something for everyone, I guess. How about you, Meg?
Yeah, well, I always do my alternate year. So I think last year was buying. I kind of do 1 year on, 1 year off, making, and then I usually just pick one thing and I make it for everybody. But I like the process because I like bulk sewing. I think it's kind of fun. So yeah, curating one thing for everybody is a little bit daunting to me. But even though you can make like little tweaks if you're doing bulk sewing anyway, if this person like this color of something, you just make that one, so there's some, but I don't know. This year I don't know. I'm not feeling too festive this year.
Yeah, I would say I'm definitely in the same boat. And I do remember, Meg, you sharing about your year on, year off, and I love that idea so much. I feel like I don't know. I never know how I'm going to feel going into this season. And it takes me a long time to get kind of like wrapped up in the season because I don't think about it until after Halloween. And even then we've got birthdays in the mix there, so really can't focus on it for at least a couple more weeks. But then towards the end, I tend to get like really in the moment and decide very late that I really do want to make homemade gifts. And then, of course, I've not avoided the stress at all. I've made it worse for myself. So there's that.
For sure.
Let's talk about this year. What are you guys thinking? How are you going to approach it? Is it going to be different, pretty much the same as your usual, seeing as it's been such a different year?
Well, I've got my own little extra thing going on. I actually have surgery scheduled for the second week in December this year. I'm at rather advanced age. I'm getting my tonsils out, y'all. So, so I'm actually going to be basically down for the count for a good long chunk of December. So I'm actually sitting here kind of panicking about figuring out my ideas and what I'm going to do. And making sure that I've got thoughts in my head. I actually have done some shopping already. And I think it's probably not going to be a heavy sewing year for me, simply because I really do need to focus in on making sure I've got everything taken care of before I go into that surgery. And if you will recall from my previous complaining about it, I had 3 major birthdays in my family also fall in December.
That's tough.
Oh, right. I remember that.
So in addition to figuring out all the Christmas gifts, I have to figure out all the birthday gifts as well. So it's high stress for me this November, but by the time I hit December, I'm going to be like, well, I'm done, or that's it, because I'm going to be laid up.
I'm actually so lucky this year. My family, my mom's kind of like me, and I don't know, we just kind of get a little grinchy over Christmas. It's just all, for us, it's just, which will be unfortunate this year too, just getting together it'll look a lot different this year. Keeping, the groups smaller. But my mom was like, can we just not do gifts this year? And I was like, oh, the gift of no gift, the best gift of all. So my whole family is just no gifts, and we're just going to be together for the night. And then with Julian's family, we persuaded her to do the draw instead of getting everybody gifts. So now I only have to get one gift.
Nice.
And I'm so excited. So I think I am going to hand make it. That's what I'm going to do. So then I can really put my efforts toward just like something really like one-off and special for whoever I draw in Julian's family. Then I just don't have to worry about my family. And Julian and I never give gifts. So I'm actually kind of excited now. Yeah.
And that's so funny because my husband and I have a small good-natured competition about who wins Christmas by who makes the other person happier with the gift that they gave.
Oh my gosh.
I don't really know how I feel yet about holiday gifts. Part of me is like, I feel like I've been all over the place with my sewing and just going from project to project, not finishing things. So the other day when I was thinking about it, I was kind of excited. Like I could make a list. I could make all the things on the list and be done with it and just feel a little bit more focused, even if it's just that one area of my life. But I don't know if I actually feel like I've got the energy and motivation to follow through. So we'll see how it goes. I feel like this year, my 2 boys they've started to make some noise about wanting some handmade garments. So I usually make Ruby a couple of things, just nothing fancy, but in some flashy fabrics, some metallics or whatever. And so I think they're getting, the gig is up and they requested some dinosaur pajamas and other various dinosaur things. So I think that'll be a fun little foray. But you can bet that I'm making the matching stuff, whatever it is.
Can I also request dinosaur pajamas?
I know. Dinosaur pajamas, pretty great. I don't have a lot of handmade pajamas, so maybe I'll sneak in a pair for myself.
Yeah, that was one thing I made. I think it was 2 years ago. I picked pajama pants as my kind of, and I made like 10 pairs of pajama pants, and they were very, very well received. Even for men, it's a great gift for everybody. And I gave a pair to my brother's girlfriend, like when they first started dating like 6 years ago, and she still says she wears them like all the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is kind of nice to have. But yeah, I don't make myself them too often either. I should definitely sneak in some for myself too.
Yes. Well, let's jump into that. Pajamas is a great starting place. Do you have a favorite kind of gift to make?
I think I tend towards accessories for gifts.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they're so much easier to make and fit
Right.
They take less time to do, and you're not as worried about making sure that you have everything the right size. And I tend towards accessories, maybe some bags. I've been known to make some dice bags in my life.
My favorite thing to give nowadays, and I've just been doing a lot of just because gifting, even right now, my bubble that I golf with, I love making embroidered things. That's the more familiar I get with my embroidery machine. I think those, like, even it doesn't even have to be that much work. You can even pre-buy something and then embroider it. Like what I do now is I buy tea towels and I don't make them. And then I embroider. Those are my favorite gifts too. But I made our golfing crew all matching golf face masks. They have like golf logos on them, and
That's awesome.
yeah.
I hadn't really thought about embroidery, but that's a really great idea.
Yeah, because you can make it so custom, and there's an embroidery design for everything, and they're so and people because it looks so elevated. It looks like you didn't do it at home. Like embroidery machines are actually so amazing, and I learn every time after I do one. I just learn more and more.
Totally.
Those are my favorite gifts to give too. Yeah.
I think I actually do end up making a lot of wearable things, but it's always like loose fit garments. Like I'm a big fan of robes. I'm a big fan of pajama pants. I've even made a few jackets, like the Wixton Haori jacket is an open jacket. It's very kind of boxy and loose fit. And that thing, when you sew it up, it looks so high end and so fancy. And it is a really easy sew. It's a lined jacket, but you can ditch the lining if you want. And it really comes together quick. And like I said, it just looks like it took a lot more time than it actually did. And I do kind of love projects like that. In addition to cardigans, I feel like a cardigan, super easy fit. You don't have to worry about it actually closing. So I've made a few cardigans as gifts as well.
That's a good idea. Actually, that might be my next, maybe if I just, if I have some fabric and stuff, maybe that's something I could make.
And the right style cardigan, I think could work for anybody, really.
Yeah, that'd be good for like my girlfriends. They would love that. That would be so cute.
Indeed. Let's do kind of a lightning round, mostly because I am selfish and I need more ideas on my end. But we're going to kind of go through some categories, and I'd love to hear just your recommendation or your favorite thing to make for this category of person. And we're starting with men. What are some good men gift ideas? Meg, you go.
I think sweatpants. Men love sweatpants, and they're easy to make. And ties. I like making ties. How about you, Kate?
I would say pajama pants actually is the thing I'd be most likely to make. Also, a lot of the dudes in my life are gaming dudes, role-playing gaming dudes. And so something like an embroidered dice tray, like one that I made a couple of years ago for Creative Machine Embroidery. I'll have to look up the exact issue and put it in the show notes. Something like that, or a dice bag. Those kind of things I think are really good for certain kinds of dudes. And they like scarves, I have learned.
Oh, that is true. Because they never think to go get themselves a scarf, but they always say they want one. That's a great idea, Kate.
I was thinking about slippers this year.
Ooh, yes.
There's a lot of really good slipper patterns out there. And I do like cardigans for dudes if the dude likes cardigans. I was thinking about like a messenger bag, or at some point, I can't remember who I was chatting with about making a wallet, which I thought was like a really cool idea. Maybe use some Pendleton wool. You don't necessarily have to go full on leather. You've got a lot of options. So those were on my list.
A hoodie would be good too. My husband does not wear cardigans, but he does wear hoodies.
Yeah, my friend and I were talking about, it's this new thing called an Uzi. Have you ever heard of it?
That's a gun.
Is it?
An Uzi? Yeah, it's a gun, like a machine gun.
Really? Apparently it's also the name of this. It's like a Snuggie and a hoodie in one. It's like a oversized dress hood. I'm sure it's called an Uzi. An Aussie, maybe. I have no idea. Now I need to look it up.
So you said it was like a hoodie and a onesie?
Yes. And it's like a hoodie and a Snuggie.
A Snuggie. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, is it Oodie?
Oodie, that's it.
There we go. Okay.
Why was I thinking Uzi? Oh my gosh, sorry. I think I was thinking cozy. Yeah, there we go. It's just like this huge, those would be really good. Because she was saying that she got one, and her partner always steals. He's always in it. And she goes, I got that for me. And so that could make a difference. Oh my gosh. And Udi, please forgive. I was thinking
see, and now I'm sitting here picturing you at your sewing machine trying to sew up a machine gun, and it's awesome.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I see. I didn't even know that. Well, thanks for the clarification.
You are welcome.
I'm so happy to know that an Udi exists in the world. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, machine gun's not a good gift.
No. Definitely not.
But I feel like a lot of people are like going to be making handmade gifts this year. All the people of the sewing machines that have been selling out over the year. Like, this is a great year if you've never made gifts to jump into making gifts.
That's a good point. I agree, Meg.
It's a really good idea. Yeah. And simple gifts are great too.
Mm-hmm. All right. Next up, what is your go-to gift for moms and moms-in-law? I think for me, it's definitely like, I kind of mentioned the robe idea, because then you don't have to worry about. Also, you could use some stash fabric, because I feel like most of the stuff that sits around in my stash is like swishy, drapey fabric that I don't really know what I'm going to sew into, but it would make the perfect robe. So that's definitely on my list. And as I mentioned, kind of the open jacket, I feel like that's something that, again, looks like it took a long time to make, but they can, a really basic open jacket comes together quite quickly.
In the past, I've made my mother-in-law an apron.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, because she loves like baking and cooking around the holidays. The complete opposite from my mom. And I've also made her like a faux fur headband type thing. Those are always kind of fancy and nice too.
I made my mother-in-law a toiletry bag specifically because she asked me to.
Oh, nice.
And that was fun. It was quilted. It had a vinyl lining. I think she still likes it and still uses it. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. I've made my mom plenty of stuff over the years, but sometimes I knitted her hats, and sometimes I knitted her scarves, and sometimes I don't know. I made her a pincushion one time. I don't know if I have a kind of go-to thing for that category. It's just sort of whatever I think that they'll like that year. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, Amanda, I'm not helping you on this one.
No, those are all good ideas. And like how many robes does a single person need?
Never. You can never have too many robes.
It's true. There's winter robes, there's summer robes.
Mm-hmm. I've made a ton of sleep masks for, that was kind of one thing I made one year and I gave to everybody because they're nice. I like them. You can put nice silk on the inside and
that's
then
a great
embroidery on the outside. And those are always fun to make too.
Yeah.
Very fun. All right. Gift ideas for kids. This is purely for my own benefit.
Dinosaur pajamas.
Dinosaur pajamas.
I think some fun like a duffel bag for, if we get to travel again anytime, that would be cute, in a custom fabric. I enjoy making costumey stuff. So like making a little costume set that you could give.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like some dress up stuff for sure. And my godkids also like to play role-playing games. So they have gotten embroidered dice bags in the past. Also, I've done scarves for the kids, and they seem to really like them. So that's what I got. I'm going back to my basic stuff.
I think the only time I gave a gift to a kid, I made like doll clothes, like an American Girl size. I can't do those just way too tiny for me. I can't do making Barbie clothes. I don't know how people do it. Like the tiny slit, but American Girl, like that size, I can definitely do. I've made that before.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I was thinking maybe I haven't done a lot of stuffy sewing in a while. And my kids they're not super into stuffed animals. They're just more into, I don't know, toys and cars and dinosaurs and Nerf guns at this point. So, or like maybe some custom, like some cute stuffy style pillows. I think it could be pretty cute this year too, because everybody has their favorite animal. So, you could customize it really easily. Slippers too. I feel like our family has turned into kind of a slipper loving family. So I could see making some kid slippers as well. Mm-hmm. That'd be cute.
So we're like a huge Croc family, and you can get fuzzy, but I want to try and make my own Croc fuzzy interlining. You could probably do that, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
like kind of insert for your crock to make it wintry. Oh my gosh, that just came to my head right now. That's such a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Like with some Sherpa or something.
I'm looking at a bolted Sherpa right now, and I'm looking at my Crocs, and I'm gonna try to make a little insert.
Must get them together.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a crock sock.
I know.
Yeah, a Croc sock.
Exactly.
Yes.
You guys, I just am getting more ideas to make stuff for myself. But I guess that's what happens. When you go shopping for Christmas gifts, you tend to find things for yourself, right? So I feel like the same should happen when you're talking about making stuff. Final category, again, completely selfish, teacher gifts.
Ooh.
Mine are pretty lame. Like I do totes. I've done little kind of pot holder bags. So like a little fabric bucket that would go around the base of a potted plant with a little jade plant inside.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it might end there. But I have 3 sets of teachers to get gifts for.
Is that something that you always have to give a teacher a gift?
You don't have to. I do think that, maybe it depends on the area that you're at. I feel like here in Colorado, there's a lot of teacher love.
Good.
So people do tend to do things. I don't think it has to be anything super involved. I really should look into some cool in the hoop projects.
Yes. That would be cute.
Because I feel like, a little the USB pouch.
Like a coffee, like the sleeve. That would be cute. Yeah.
You could even customize that with a fun little saying. I do like a mug sleeve.
Yeah. Those are cute.
You could do, let's see.
What about a face mask? Like a teacher-based face mask? Because they need to wear them teaching now. That could be a good one for this year. Like a nice school-themed one. That could be cute.
Or you could do like the little Santa wrap that we had a couple of years ago on CME. And tie it around a nice pillar candle or a bottle of wine or something like that.
I was thinking wine.
I think
I went straight to wine.
My friend's a teacher, and she goes, all I need is wine. After, she also gets so much chocolate. I always go over after it's like in January, and she goes, help me eat all of this chocolate that my students give me. So Julie and I are always shoving our faces with it.
Yeah.
I had a fun idea that is like so functional. I don't know, but I was thinking we need a lingerie bag to wash our masks in so they don't get lost in the laundry. But you could make a little bag with some mesh and like a nice little border or something. I feel like, again, it's so useful and utilitarian. It's not very exciting, but
those get used the most though.
I feel like everybody needs one. Everyone's wearing masks and washing their masks. And
you know what? I'll tell you, Amanda, my mom was a 6th grade teacher before she retired, and there was an influx of gifts from her students. And keep in mind, we're looking at, 20, 30 gifts every year. Some of them are long gone, and some of them, especially like there are certain ornaments on the tree that she's like, I really like this ornament. I didn't even like the kid, but I like the ornament. I'm sorry, Mom.
It happens.
Yeah, it did, but it's true. Like there's an influx of gifts and things that are useful. I think she would have loved to have gotten, say, a tote bag or something like that. Something that's really not just another ornament, not just some more candy, but something a little unique and a little personalized. I think she would have appreciated that. Mom, you can text me and tell me if I'm wrong, and I will bring it up in a future episode.
Yeah, feel free to weigh in. Well, I think that's really it. Did we cover all the main categories? We didn't talk pets. Or do you guys do a lot of gift sewing for pets?
I don't, though last year my mother got her a kitten for her birthday, which is in December, and so he was pretty new at Christmas. So he got a big pile of toys and a bed with his name embroidered on the side.
That's pretty special.
Which he apparently has never used, but my cats didn't use theirs for 16 months after I made them, so I've told her to just hold on to it. One of these days he'll find it and decide it's cool. So not a lot of sewing for my cats, actually, but occasionally I'll do something for them.
Yeah, this year I'm definitely sewing Bubbly a bed because our other bunnies, like Bunny and Burry, they would sleep on the couch or the carpet. But every night we have this one blanket that's right next to Julian's side of the bed. And every night when, we turn out, he runs and he sleeps beside us every night, and it's just on a blanket. So I want to make him a little bed. And there's also a little shelf that we covered in fabric so I want to make a little 2-step bed for him.
Aww.
So that would be cute. I know.
Cute.
Julian says every time he gets out of bed, like in the middle of the night, if he has to go to the bathroom or get water, he just feels a little like nudge on his ankle. He gets headbutt every time he gets out of bed. And he's like, oh, it's so cute. Just everybody just acts differently. It's just funny. But I think I'm going to sew him a bed this year. Now because I have way less gifts to sew for people. So I'll focus on him.
I'm sure he'll appreciate that.
Can I tell a random little story?
Of course.
So the other night we had a power outage in the middle of the night.
Oh, no.
And it woke us up mostly because we have a fan that runs and it turned off, and my husband has a CPAP machine that turned off. And so we both kind of woke up, and then we were trying to go to sleep, but it was so quiet. You're used to having a little bit of quiet. And also we've got this huge street lamp in front of our house, and that just kind of shines right through the front window and then right into our bedroom. So we always have some ambient light in the bedroom, but it was off because the power was out. And my cat came and snuggled up against my back and purred really loudly. And I'm pretty sure that she thought I was probably afraid of the dark and was trying to make me feel better.
That's so sweet.
That's sweet.
Yeah. Oh, I better go comfort Kim.
Cute. Okay, I guess I do feel a little bit more inspired to maybe make some handmade gifts. How about you? Maybe.
We'll see.
Kate, I think you have an excuse. You can bow out gracefully.
Don't you usually make soap, right?
I did make soap for many years, and I've kind of fallen off of that right now for various reasons, some of which are because my major soaping space is currently covered by a giant embroidery machine. So I have not made any soap this year. So if you're out there and you're one of my family members and you're hoping to get soap this year, I am very sorry to tell you will not be getting soap.
It happens. Life happens.
Maybe next year.
Well, thanks so much for sharing your ideas, you guys. Let's take a quick break and we'll be back with our next segment.
Giving gifts to the ones you love is one of the best parts of the holidays. But let's be honest, getting gifts is pretty awesome too. I know we all have a range of interests and things unrelated to sewing that we'd like to receive, but here on Sew and Tell, let's talk about the sewing related things that we think would be cool to get this year and that we think are good gifts for sewists in general. For our listeners, feel free to queue up this section and make your family and friends listen to it if you want to give them some hints. So let's start easy. What about small tools? What do you like to find in your stocking?
I don't know. I feel like I've been pining for a fancy seam ripper for a while. Because there are some, with either a wooden handle that's been hand turned or even glass or clay as the base. So something a little bit bigger. Yeah, I just feel like I've seen those around for a little while and you spend a lot of time with your seam ripper. I have a lot of little scissors, but I also love little scissors.
Right.
So I feel like that would be a really fun. Plus I didn't, I like fancy scissors, but I don't necessarily think to buy them for myself. So I feel like that's where someone could come in and make a selection for me and I'd be super happy about it.
I have been wanting a scissors necklace because I never know where I put them. I'm always running around. I have so many I always need one around my neck. So I always something like that would be kind of cool. Little scissor holder.
Yeah. I agree with the seam ripper thing. They do get dull as you use them. And so, and they're pretty hard to sharpen because they're sort of a weird shape and a weird location. So, and when it comes down to it, in a lot of cases, just a new one is probably better than trying to sharpen them or revamp them. I also agree on small scissors. I love clips. I have lots of them. I lose them easily. So that's always a nice thing to have another one of that you can just kind of grab. Friction pens. I have so many friction pens, and I have very rarely run out of ink in any of them. But, it's nice to be able to always reach to the side and have a friction pen that you can just iron out. And pins.
Yes, I was going to say pins.
Yeah, me too.
Not fun to buy for yourself.
Right. Well, and like seam
Exactly.
rippers, they get dull over time. And so, it's always a nice thing to have some new pins. And especially if you are giving a gift, you can kind of invest in the ones with the cute little tops and the little extra special elements to them. And then because, it's like, okay, I'm just going to buy some flathead pins, or somebody gives me a set of pins with little chicks on top, or I don't know.
I am sitting here in my sewing room recording today, and I thought about pattern weights.
Yes.
There are so many custom pattern weight options out there. Just one look at Etsy, and there's a bazillion options aside from the kind of standard ones that you can buy at the store. I feel like that's a great gift. It's super useful, and anything that kind of makes your sewing space feel more like it represents you.
Well, and that's one of those things where you can have too many of them. I'm sure there's a world in which there are too many pattern weights, but I don't know about you, but I like to put them I space them 5 inches apart if I can. And so, have lots of pattern weights, and they'll all get used and they'll all get loved. That is a great idea, Amanda. And I'm totally putting that on my Christmas list this year.
Yes.
Now I'm scanning because I'm also in my sewing room. I'm scanning to see if I have anything else that's really jumping out at me. I mean, a lot of the basic tools, it's always good to have a backup measuring tape or whatever.
There's a lot of fancy tweezers out there too that are specific to sewing. And I feel like that's one thing that's whenever anybody has a splinter in my house, they come to the sewing room to get my tweezers. And I'm so not okay with that. So some dedicated, easily distinguishable mom sewing tweezers, I think would be a good one.
Definitely. And, pin cushions. There are so many cute options for pin cushions out there, and they're small and they're easy. And, it's funny. I didn't used to use pin cushions. I used to just keep my pins in a little bucket, and I just pull them out and toss them back in, and it was fine. And then one day I got into pin cushions, and now I just can't stop.
Oh, yeah. I could not live without my magnetic pin cushion.
Yeah, I use the magnetic.
I'm so clumsy. I'm always, knocking it over. Then the pickup is so easy. I just skim it over the floor.
Oh, yeah. I don't usually use a magnetic pin cushion, but I've got a magnetic wand for that same purpose, for picking them up if they get spilled. Yeah.
Speaking of those, I've also seen a lot of folks making ceramic pin cushion, and then there's a magnet underneath, so it becomes a magnetic pin bowl. And I feel like I've seen some really nice looking ones. I think it would be nice, bring in some more handmade elements into your workspace, and obviously support those artists as well. So
okay, I'm gonna have a moment, because one of the things that I've seen is somebody get an old teacup and basically fill the cup with stuffing, and then put fabric over the top of it and make that into a pin cushion. And that's super adorable. And just everybody file that away in the previous section where we were talking about homemade gifts that you can make for your sewist friends, for sure.
Oh my gosh, that is such a cute idea. Oh,
I know,
I love that.
Super cute. And you can go to the thrift store and get something that, doesn't have huge sentimental value to you, because my mom's got a big collection of teacups I'd never glue something to because they have meaning.
I love teacups. That's such a cute idea. I'm I want to make one for myself. I'm just thinking of things I want to make for myself.
That's okay.
Because no one who gives me gifts knows how to sew. They all just know I like it. So they never even think to get, they're oh, I'm probably going to get her the wrong type of, So I never get actual sewing gifts. It's more sewing themed things,
right.
Scissor jewelry or a thimble necklace, and I like stuff like that.
Cool. We'll get to that. But before we get there, let's talk about kind of the larger tools. I'm thinking irons and stuff. Is there something like that that's appropriate to give the sewist in your life or to receive? I mean, I have definitely received my favorite gravity feed iron came from a very specific request, along with some of my sewing tools. Let's say went on Amazon, put them on my Amazon list so they knew exactly what to get me, which is a good way to do it if you have non-sewer friends who want to get you sewing stuff. But what else?
I think I probably mentioned this on the podcast before, but I have asked for a new iron for 50 birthdays and Christmases. And I think that it just feels weird. Like I mostly asked my husband probably to get that for me. And I think he feels weird about buying me an iron. Like it just is like, here's something so you can iron my shirts later.
Right.
I totally do not do that.
I'm at the store being like, who is this for? I'm getting this for my wife for Grace.
Exactly.
Like, I know. I totally know what you mean.
Well, and I mean that's one of those funny stereotypes, you know. I got you a cleaning appliance or an appliance that you can use for your
a vacuum.
I didn't just buy something for the household, it's your Christmas present.
Exactly.
On the other hand, I have very rarely been as excited as when I got my iron.
Totally.
And also was very excited by my dustbuster that I asked for last year. And there, you know, I think that's the difference. And maybe, Amanda, you should just mention this conversation that we're having right now to your husband. There's a difference between I'm giving you an appliance and I asked you for an appliance. Those two things are completely different.
He totally gets it. I think he always has his own ideas about what he's going to get me. So iron never happens. And I really, that'll be on my list this year. And again, with the scissors thing, even like shears, dressmakers, shears, anything like that, I don't have very fancy tools. And I feel like there are some really beautiful scissors out there to be had for sewists. And they're expensive and they're perfectly balanced works of art. And I feel like that is something where I could see, I don't know, it'd be hard to mess it up too much, I think.
Yeah.
I'd probably be overly specific about what size I wanted, but I feel like that's a nice gift to give someone. It also lasts a long time. I have scissors from my grandma, from my mother-in-law. They last a while. They're kind of a nice thing to pass down, and they can be really special. Again, kind of utilitarian, but I like fancy scissors, apparently.
Yeah, I have a pair of my grandmother's pinking shears, and they're display, but they're just so beautiful. They're like
so beautiful.
Yeah, so beautiful.
Oh, definitely. Scissors are such. I don't even have anything to add. I'm just agreeing with you guys. Scissors are
scissors.
I mean, they seem sort of like, oh, they're just scissors, and they also seem like you want scissors, and then also you're like, oh, you want me to pay what for scissors? And it's like,
it's true.
No, you don't understand. These are really good sewing scissors. Never touch them again after you hand them to me.
Oh, I know. This will be the only time you touch them. This is when you hand them. Never. If you think, oh, I need to cut this box, do not come for these scissors.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. Scissors, irons. I think garment steamers are a super great thing to have around the house.
Yes.
Again, that's a little bit like something that you're going to maybe ask for if it's something you want.
Yeah.
But I hate ironing, but I don't mind steaming.
I like, I have a steamer, and it's a game changer. I love it.
Absolutely.
Ooh, I thought of another one, but it would be like a really big gift. Not a sewing machine. You could go that route. We could talk about that. But I've wanted a dress form for a really long time.
Me too. I want one so bad.
And there's all different levels. You know, you can buy the standard ones. You can get a custom one made to your measurements. So I feel like there's a lot of ways you could go about that. But that is definitely a big gift that I just can't seem to prioritize for myself, that I feel like I could put it on the list.
Yeah, for sure. Ooh, a dress form.
Oh my gosh, I've wanted one for so long. Oh, I'm literally looking around, and I was like, I could put it there. I could put
exactly.
It, like,
it looks so good in here.
I know, because how many times I've been, you know, when you try and fit something, it's always just goes on the button. But if I had like something else to work on, like for pinning straps, like, and just it could just be a game changer for sure.
Or see something from the back.
Oh my gosh, yes! I'm always trying to take like pictures from the back and try. Yeah,
I mean, even just for placing embroidery designs. Like when you have getting your templates and putting them exactly where you want them to sit on the body.
I've never gotten a serger or a sewing machine for Christmas, but I do know people who get those for Christmas. I don't know the logistics, if they pick them out and then someone else buys it for them, if they're buying them for themselves. Either way, terrific. But I feel like, I don't know, if you knew exactly what you wanted, or you knew kind of the range that you wanted, I could see that. I mean, that's kind of like ultimately super lovely for someone to like want to help you upgrade to something that is going to expand your creativity, and you're going to use it. You're going to spend a lot of quality time with it. I think that would be amazing. I'd be up for it.
I did get a serger for my birthday, and it was delightful. I had actually said, I've been thinking about asking for a serger for my birthday, but I don't think I really need a serger. And then I got a serger for my birthday, which was not what I intended, but it worked really well.
Worked for you?
It worked for me. And that was, oh man, I've had a relationship with that serger longer than I've had a relationship with my husband. And it's still going strong. Yeah, it was really exciting. I also, for my birthday last year, I think, I got the DIY style cutting system. Are you familiar with this one? It's a cutting board on one side and it's a cork board on the other side. And there's a magnetic sheet in the middle. And then it comes with these super strong magnets so that you can use these magnets instead of pattern weights when you're cutting stuff out. And if you want a pattern on the cork board side, you can use those as well instead of pins. And it is really cool and I really love it. That was a nice present. Again, that was something I asked for specifically.
You made me think about like a cutting machine. I haven't done a whole lot of projects with cutting machines, but I have friends who do and who don't sew. It's more of like a general craft thing, but they make amazing things, decals for custom shirts. I mean, definitely tons of gifting opportunity and holiday crafting opportunity with a cutting machine,
for sure.
I think. I just haven't taken the plunge yet.
I know. Yeah, it would be fun too. That just,
Yeah, I just keep thinking about the beautiful Cricut machine we have at the office. That it's like I can't ask for a cutting machine when I have access to that beautiful high-end machine. Even if I don't go into the office more than once a month anymore. Also, don't know what box it's in right now.
Probably buried.
Can it cut so it can? How many layers of fabric can it cut at once? Just one, or
I don't know. It will cut thicker things like some like cork. It'll cut cork and vinyl. So it's definitely capable of cutting through multiple layers, but what you have to do is you have to stick the fabric to a kind of slightly sticky backing that holds the fabric in place while it cuts. And so I don't know if you stacked multiple pieces on there. I mean, maybe if you use some temporary spray adhesive or something to hold everything in place, it could probably do a couple layers, but I don't think it's really designed to.
I mean, I think that's like the perfect thing for somebody who does a lot of batch sewing.
Yes.
It would be for more smaller scale projects, I think. But it's the perfect thing. Like I know a lot of people who do that and make items to sell at craft shows and things.
Oh, really?
When those kinds of things are, happening. But yeah, there's so many uses. I forget. I feel like I've got enough to play with, but that would definitely be fun.
All right, let's move on to the great fabric debate. What do you guys think about fabric as gifts? Just yardage.
I'm pro fabric as gift, but I think it depends on how well the person knows you. Like my husband got me some fabric for my birthday and he did an excellent job. It was this black fabric with white stripes. It was that mariner's cloth. It's kind of textural. It's perfect. It was something I totally would have picked out for myself. And I would definitely trust him too if he wanted to like get something on the fancier side, say from Pendleton, something like that. That was really a special thing that was well beyond something. It was just a wearable, everyday kind of thing. I think the special fabrics are an option. But that being said, I think sewing has made me even more picky than I would have been normally just as a person. So I am pretty picky. So I feel like maybe he's the only person who I would trust to buy me fabric. But I'm always open to fabric. I'm very pro gift card for fabric. That's probably the safest bet if you don't really know much about what the sewist you're buying for is into or wants or needs or anything like that. Because, I mean, there is nothing better than a gift card, a fabric gift card especially. It's like, your rainy day fund, your impulse purchase, like, oh, I need to make some new leopard print tracksuit. So I'm going to go get some leopard print today. That actually might need to happen.
Yeah, that sounds intriguing. I would agree mostly. I think that if you're a sewer yourself and you have a fairly good idea of somebody's type of fabric that they like to use, and B, like what kind of yardage would be appropriate for something. I mean, I had somebody once, an old friend of mine, apparently just saw some cherry print flannel back satin once, and she was like, oh, Kate needs this, and she bought me some number of yards. I haven't actually ever done anything with it. I need to dig it out of my box in the garage. And that was awesome. But again, it was sort of like flannel back satin. She was like, you can make a dress out of it. And I'm like, it's flannel backed.
But she just saw the cherries and went for it. I mean, I think that's cute if you have your own, if you have your thing. Like, I would probably buy Meg some lime green fabric and feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that there are situations in which it's appropriate to just be like, okay, I can look at that fabric and absolutely know that X person would love it and would use it. And that's great. And then I think most of the time gift cards are really awesome. I agree with Amanda. Very certain situations.
I've never gotten fabric before because, like, no, it's just, I don't know. People just figure that, I don't really get sewing gifts. Yeah, don't fabric or anything. I mean, I do enough buying for myself. I don't.
Yeah,
because my gift pool, like, it's actually quite small, like every year. Yeah. So it's. Just,
would you trust like Julian to pick up fabric for you? If he saw something, do you think he would be able to look at something and say, oh, this is an appropriate thing to buy?
He gets caught up when I go to the fabric store with him. He comes back for something that he likes for me to make for him. Like, that's what.
Yeah.
But I would definitely trust people because they would know anything lime green I'm going to like.
Yeah.
I'm not actually, people say that I'm the easiest person to buy for. It's just lime green or there's like a bunny on it. If it's like beer, I love all that stuff. So I could definitely trust Julian and anyone with the fabric. Because I like a challenge too. Even if I don't like it, I'll be like, oh, how can I make this work for me? I like a challenge too.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds like we're generally in agreement. Certain situations, sure, but give me a gift card.
Oh yeah, gift card's definitely the way to go.
So, as Meg mentioned earlier, not every sewing-related gift is actually something you use while sewing. For example, a mug we featured in the Sew News staff picks that I really need to acquire at some point that says, life is short, buy the fabric. But I'm not allowed to because I'm not allowed to buy any more mugs. So what are some cool things that are sewing-related but not actually sewing tools that you would think would be a nice thing to get for somebody who's a sewist?
I think definitely jewelry.
Jewelry.
Yeah. Yeah. My mother-in-law got me a bracelet that was like a measuring tape, but it had like, it's like in like this like cool like plastic bracelet. I always say like those are fun. I always get gifts like that and I love them. Sewing necklaces and little earrings. I think those are my favorite. Yeah.
I need some more. I don't actually have, I would categorize this as like sewing swag.
Yeah, like, exactly.
I don't have very much of that.
Oh no.
And I have like one sewing t-shirt, and whenever I wear it out, people ask me about sewing, and like it's always a way to connect with people, and I have vowed to get some more sewing t-shirts.
Oh yeah.
And like bumper stickers, and so definitely t-shirts, tote bags, those kinds of things I think are a pretty safe bet.
Yeah, for sure. I have the cutest t-shirt that's death sewing at a sewing machine, and I love it. I wear it around Halloween.
Nice.
Yes, Tea Turtle has some great sewing and craft themed shirts, if anyone's interested.
Yeah.
And they're adorable. I'll put that link in the show notes.
Yeah, it's too bad Julian doesn't work at that. He used to work at a t-shirt printing shop. So I get to design my own custom ones. I still wear them, but I designed one. I even did the graphics for it, and it said, sew, wine, sleep, repeat. It was really cute, and I had like a little sewing machine.
Cute.
Yeah,
I love stuff with the cute little sayings on them.
Oh, I know. I love the ones that are like, I sew, but like, no, I won't hem your pants.
Yeah, the ones that are kind of,
I know,
saucy.
I'm definitely feeling the sassy ones right now.
I love the sassy ones. Yeah.
So for sure, yeah, like t-shirts, again, mugs, except I'm not allowed to have any mugs. I've got some sewing Band-Aids that my mother-in-law got me.
Oh, that's so
I don't think I've ever used them because I'm like, they're so special. I need to save them for what? I don't know, my most special wounds.
I think even like sewing journals and stuff like that too are really
that's
fun.
That's a good idea. Some like pencils and stuff for someone who, getting started with sketching. There's probably some good books out there pertaining to that, and maybe books in general.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, there's some really cool books. A lot of sewing books come with patterns actually included in them. Those are really useful.
I'm not trying to like plug or anything, but like a magazine subscription is a great, because it's like truly the gift that keeps on giving. I have given, my mother-in-law is a knitter, and I give her a subscription pretty much every year to knitting magazines. And I think that's a fabulous gift.
Yeah.
And I like to receive that too. You know, my mom used to get me magazine subscriptions when I was younger to like 17 magazine, like college.
Right.
I love, because it's like every month you just get that thing in the, I think those just makes sense.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
And for anyone with an embroidery machine, Creative Machine Embroidery is a great gift too. I like sewing baskets. I don't know, that might have actually gone in the tools, but I like to have places where I can stash my stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Like organizers.
Yes, and a chair. I really need a new chair because right now I am sewing and also podcasting in a metal folding chair, which is highly uncomfortable. And I really need to get a better chair down here that I can use for my sewing and podcasting. I'm currently sitting on one of my cat's cushions to kind of help with that, but it's only does so much good.
Yeah. I'm such a good wife. I had such an amazing sewing chair. It had wheels and it was like all comforty. And then Julian, he got a desk, like he's working more at a desk at his job now. And he's like, I don't like the chair can I have that chair? So I let him take it to work. So I was like, I bet you, even though we probably sit at his desk and my sewing machine the same, but it's okay.
Wow, you are a good wife. Wow.
I know. He did get that chair for me, but
he got it for you.
So he was taking it back. No, I know. But I think not having wheels on, because it's like a T with my sewing machine and surge, like wheeling back and forth is so much fun. Like you do a little spin, you go to the surge, like a wheelie chair is amazing. I need to get one too.
You just figure out what kind of chair that was that Julian got for you and slip it in the show notes so I can put it on my Christmas list.
Yeah, he said that the person that designed the chair also designed the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh, cool.
Interesting.
I know. It was so comfy. Now I'm just sitting here just thinking of him sitting at work right now in that chair.
Well,
the chair,
Well, I'm sitting in a folding chair, so
that's
I
am sitting on. I do have a little lime green couch in my studio that I sit on, but yeah. Anyways.
Well, what else?
Chairs. I never thought that our conversation would lead to chairs today.
But you never know. There's so many little elements of things that go into your sewing world. So, yeah, I mean, sewing chairs.
And thread racks. I just bought a thread rack and it's a game changer for sure, especially for embroidery threads.
Oh, yeah. I've got one I need to have my husband hang up because I have more serger thread than I have room on my serger thread rack. And so I need to get more room. All right. What else?
Honestly, you know what could be a good gift too for yourself? And it's like plants for your sewing. I have some some fresh flowers in my sewing room, and I do need to water them. They're looking a little dead, but just things like plants and stuff. I always think that's a great, even for just anyone, but especially for the sewing machine, it kind of brings it, sewing is such an introverted inside activity that bringing some life into could be a really good idea.
One of the things I'm actually going to ask for this year is a Bluetooth speaker that I can hook my phone up to, because what I have down here is my stereo that I got when I was 13, and I can play tapes on it. Is how old it is. And so I would like to be able to stream some stuff off my phone. So yeah, a nice speaker that will do that for me is on my list, and I think would be a nice thing for anybody who has a separate sewing space.
Ooh, lighting.
Yes!
That would be a good one. Like I'm in a basement room in my sewing room, and it definitely is dark and the lighting is not great. And my serger is kind of an older model. It doesn't have a light on it, but there are those new light strips that you can buy and then you just stick them to the machine. And I think they plug in. So I need to figure out my plug situation and probably get a little extension cord set up. But I need to do that. That's something I don't think about very often until it gets really bad and I'm trying to seam rip black thread out of black fabric. And I'm like, oh yeah, the lighting down here is not great.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of ways to upgrade. I've actually seen a couple stories recently where people they're getting something called like a garage light, and it screws in like a normal light bulb, but it has several panels so that it really disperses the light rather than from one source. It's from multiple sources, and it looks amazing because there's a lot of people who sew in their basement extra rooms,
That is true. Lighting. It's really key.
As we mentioned, I just replaced my lighting in here, and it's delightful and so wonderful. So
Yeah.
Oh, I just have one quick little story that it's super quick and it's funny because when we were talking about Amanda's husband going to buy the iron and being like,
here you go, baby.
no, but this was something that probably Julian was like too embarrassed to go buy for himself. He told me one year for his birthday, he wanted a squatty potty. And so I had to go get it. And in Toronto, I have no car. And so I walked it. It's this huge plastic. And of course, they don't have a bag that's big enough for it. So I have to walk.
You just carried it down the street.
And it had the huge sticker across. And so I was like, thanks, Julian. Like, there you go, Julian.
That is hilarious.
And I had to walk home with it under my arm. And this is for you. And so half of the present was actually me going and getting
How it works.
that just popped into my mind.
Oh, Julian.
Oh, Julian.
Well, if nobody else has any other fantastic ideas of what you can get a sewist for Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever, we will move on to our next segment. But if you do have any great ideas, listeners, please let us know.
Yeah.
Send them along.
I feel like we came up with a pretty hefty list. Like, that was great. Yeah, we got a nice list going.
For sure.
All right. So back to us.
This has all been about us.
I know. Amanda's so right. When you go holiday shopping, you buy stuff for yourself. Like,
totally.
Yeah, because sometimes like you just never trying to find time to shop for yourself. You always go and shop for others. You're like, oh, wait, like, look at this.
I can pick up this little thing while I'm getting this big thing.
Exactly. So let's talk about our SewJo then. It's what's giving us our sewing mojo. Maybe we went fabric shopping for someone else and then we got something for ourselves. So what do we feel in sewing like this week?
I am not actually sure. I've been thinking lately, okay, so the weather right now is quite warm and I'm actually wearing a tank top right now, but under a sweatshirt. So I don't suppose it counts, but it's going to get cold pretty quick. And I've been thinking that I might need to look into making a long sleeve t-shirt.
Well, that's
like
a good
the
idea.
Lane Raglan. I really like that one. And I've got this skirt that I can't wear because the fabric it's a knit fabric, but it has like no recovery. So if I try to wear it, the waistband just keeps getting larger and larger until it's falling off.
Ooh.
But it's a pretty big skirt. It's a maxi skirt. So I'm thinking I might be able to get a couple sleeves or something out of that. And of course I won't mind on the sleeves because they'll just be nice and baggy and comfortable. So yeah, I'm kind of looking into maybe making a raglan shirt or something. It's kind of how I'm feeling right now. And also maybe some autumn themed masks for November because nerd.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good
Total
idea.
Nerd. Can't wear my spooky one anymore. So
How about you, Amanda?
Well, I am still kind of all over the place. That's been the one like consistent thing here lately. It is nice right now, but I know it's going to get cold soon and I'm still in need of some more kind of cool weather athleisure type stuff. So I got some really chocolatey brown velour from my favorite thrifted fabric store.
Yes.
And Meg, you and I had talked about tracksuits.
Oh, yeah.
But I think I'm going to make some pants because I was really excited, actually. We talked about pants last week. We got a comment from someone who liked the Hudson pants by True Bias. And Kelly from True Bias just released a blog tutorial about how to make those high rise. And so I think I might try that with this velour. It's going to be awesome or hideous, but either way, I'll be super comfy.
It'll be hideously awesome.
I think you're probably right. So I think that's what I'm doing next. That's my SewJo.
Well, mine's quite similar because I also ordered some on Match Point fabric and it's like green and like it's like has a metallic stripe. It's velour striped fabric and lime green and all different kinds of green. And I was upset. I bought like 5 yards of it.
That's
I'm
awesome.
probably like the only one who's like gonna get that. And I messaged the owner, Michelle. She's like, I thought of you when I saw this fabric.
I saw that fabric too, and I totally thought of you, Meg. I was like, oh yeah, Meg's gonna be all over that.
Oh, so I'm gonna make I was either gonna make like a boiler suit, or I think I'm gonna make matching separate. I'm gonna make like a tracksuit, like a hoodie and pants that are like in velour. So I'm very excited because I never thought that they would come back, but 2020, here we are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fancy.
You never know what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like something that needs to be embroidered, is all I'm saying.
Oh, would it be too busy with the stripes though?
Depends on what you embroidered on it. It doesn't need to be huge.
I'll think on it. Maybe I will. You remember the trend where things would be embroidered like right across the butt, like a saying or something? Like, what was it? Juicy? Those juicy tracks? Maybe I should.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. What should I embroider on the butt? Okay, that's what I'll think of.
Salty. That's what I want.
Oh my gosh, this is funny. Okay, that'll be fun to think of. So that's my SewJo.
There you go.
So now let's hop on to Sew and Tell. And so last week we asked you, because it was all about pants, what's your favorite pants pattern? And we had lots of great responses on Instagram. Definitely found some new patterns out that way for sure.
Yeah, first up we heard from Don Z Sews, who said, I love the Sabrina Slims by Love Notions. They fit great on my first try. I'm actually afraid to try any others. Yes. That's totally me. And I've been really curious about the Sabrina Slims. I think it's not a new pattern. It's been out there for a while. I believe it's a stretch pant pattern, but it looks really chic and classy. So I remember early on in my pants making, that was on my list, but I might have to
I can totally relate to not wanting to steer away if you just know something.
Right.
Totally. That's totally my problem with pants.
I know.
Get your favorites.
We had Lisi Creates, and she said, I spend a lot of time drafting a pants sloper. So it's pretty much all I use for pants now. It takes lots of time, but was worth it for me. Now I draft patterns based on the sloper or use the sloper to make adjustments to purchase patterns so I can get non-stretch pants to fit right with just minor adjustments rather than the 3 or 4 major ones I would have had to just make the initial muslin otherwise. So that's a great idea too. Just have your own custom pants.
Yes. Someday I'm going to succeed.
I'm tempted.
I need to update mine.
That sounds pretty dreamy.
All right. We also heard from Skinner 3, who said, well, no fave pants pattern as of yet, but hearing from your guest, that was Ray Cumby, regarding fitting, I plan to give pants a try. Next challenge is which pattern, as I do not like high-waisted pants and seems like I am like Kate and dislike things around my waist. Solidarity.
I can't relate.
Yeah, I know you can't. And I can't relate to you liking things around your waist.
Oh.
Me and Skinner 3, we get it.
So now we want to know, you can add to our abundance of gift ideas, but we want to know what's on your sewing wish list.
Yes, more ideas.
Oh, this is going to be bad.
And again, just if you got a sewing machine this year, you're new to sewing, you've never sewn gifts before, just try and make one this year. Like it's really, and I think we talked about this in our last year's episode, this, stigma of giving and getting handmade gifts, they're kind of like a cop out or whatever. And that's like totally not that. We need to get rid with that. Handmade gifts are the best and they're with love and, they're great.
I agree. And that stuff means so much more this year. I think having something that's personally made from someone to give to someone else, if you have the time and the energy, and maybe it'll make you feel good to make something and give something this year. I always am surprised by how good it feels to give.
I agree. And even if it's just making something for yourself, like you're making your holiday pajamas, or make yourself slippers to wear, just something,
Or do what I did and make a fleece caftan.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you should. Everyone should probably.
I need to get a picture. All right, everyone. Thanks for talking about gifts with me today. I love talking about stuff like this. It's so interesting. It's so inspiring.
Mm-hmm. That was fun.
Happy stitching.
Yeah, until next time.
Happy stitching, everyone. Bye.
For links to everything we talked about in this episode, go to our show notes page at sewdaily.com/sewandtell. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email us at sewandtellpodcast@goldenpeakmedia.com or visit us on Instagram at sewandtellpod. Answer the Sew and Tell question, tell us your SewJo, or just leave us some feedback. If you enjoyed our show, please subscribe on your podcasting platform of choice. And please leave us a review, ideally a good one, because that helps listeners like you find our podcast. And tell your sewing friends about us too. Thanks for listening, and happy stitching.
Sew and Tell is a Sew Daily podcast and produced by Golden Peak Media. It's hosted and produced by Meg Healy, Amanda Carestio, and me, Kate Zaynard. Daisha Clay is our producer. Director of podcasts is Jared Mayer. Tiffany Warble is Director of Content. Kelsey Ratterman handles our marketing, and Andrea Lotz does all things digital. If you'd like more information on sponsoring or advertising on Sew and Tell, go to goldenpeakmedia.com.